Right now at 6, a family's heartbreak as a suspected serial killer pleads not guilty to a 5th murder.
Porque no sabe lo que me quitó.
Because he can't imagine what he took from me.
What prosecutors say they're planning that could change how the case plays out.
Plus, a grieving daughter calls for answers and accountability after her father was killed in Longview's chemical tank rupture.
Napon's time is coming. They're on a clock now.
Then, new details about the lavish lifestyle of an immigration attorney accused of defrauding hundreds of families.
That's sad. How she's living a good life, pretending that everything is fine, but it's not.
And later, how the Portland Fire head coach who trains his team differently is already getting recognized for what he's accomplished.
But first, to our top story, with a suspected serial killer back in court to face charges that he murdered a 5th woman. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitowanich. Today was the first time we've seen the suspect, Jesse Calhoun, since he was arraigned last August for the murder of Kristen Smith.
Let's bring in Jake Holter live at the Multnomah County Courthouse downtown. And Jake, we also heard more from family members.
Yeah, including the father of 22-year-old Ashley Rial, as the suspect accused of taking her life and killing 4 other women in the Portland metro, once again pleaded not guilty.
My sister doesn't have a life anymore. And her dignity was taken away from her.
The body of 22-year-old Ashley Rial was found in rural Clackamas County roughly 3 years ago. The man accused of killing her, 41-year-old Jesse Calhoun, pled not guilty at his arraignment Wednesday. Ashley's father speaking with us through a translator.
Porque no sabe lo que me quitó.
Because he can't imagine what he took from me.
And this isn't the first time Calhoun's been charged with murder. He is accused of killing 4 other women: Charity Perry, Bridget Webster, Joanna Speaks, and Kristen Smith, all between the ages of 22 and 32.
We've all experienced the worst thing that could ever happen to you, and it's incredibly hard to see one of the other families hurt the way we do.
Calhoun was charged for the murders of Perry, Webster, and Speaks in 2024 and Smith in 2025. All 5 women were found dead under suspicious circumstances in early 2023. Their bodies discovered in wooded or secluded areas in or near Portland.
Do you have any idea as a parent what it is not to fly across that room and show him what a woman can do? That's pretty hard.
Deputy District Attorney Todd Jackson says the DA's office plans to combine all 5 cases into one trial, and there's a big reason for that.
By doing that, we would have one single trial to litigate all of the charges against Jesse Calhoun related to all 5 of the victims, as opposed to having potentially up to 5 separate trials.
Also in court today, the future court dates, including the trial date, were canceled with that expected motion to combine the 5 cases into one trial. The next status hearing to work to set those new dates is scheduled for August 7th. Back to you.
Jake Holter downtown with the update. Thanks, Jake.
In your headlines, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office is looking for new video to help its investigation into a triple homicide in Sandy. It happened Sunday. Police say 38-year-old Brian Moore shot and killed his wife, Jenna Overson, her mother, Beth, and 16-year-old Coben McClure. Moore is also accused of shooting a Sandy police sergeant who was flown to a hospital and is expected to survive. Detectives are asking for video from anyone who lives in or may have been in the area on your screen around the time of the shooting. That's between 3:30 and 4 p.m. this past Sunday, May 31st, on Evans Street from Meinig Avenue to Van Fleet Avenue. You can submit tips by phone or online.
Dozens of new laws are set to take effect in Oregon on Friday. They include a ban on landlords disclosing immigration status and other personal information, a broader definition of tobacco products to prevent underage sales, and a ban on the sale of so-called speculative tickets. Those are tickets sold online at inflated prices before they've even been officially released.
And Brit announces its show lineup. There is a gap in time between that announcement and actually the release of tickets. But if you go on the internet, you've been able to find ticket sellers who will sell you tickets that have not even yet been released by Brit. And they'll sell you those tickets at a higher price than what you're going to get from Brit. So what this bill does is it just establishes some parity in the market.
Another law allows cities to expand their urban growth boundaries one time only and with specific guidelines when the land would be used for certain types of housing.
And Oaks Park is looking for a name for its new drop tower debuting at the park next year. The park says the new ride will offer breathtaking views of Portland before delivering a heart-pounding free fall. Thrill seekers rejoice here. If you've got an idea for a name, head to the park's website and fill out their form by June 14th. The winner will be notified July 31st and get 2 free season passes to the park, plus special offers on food and gift shop purchases. Construction starts this summer. Joe?
Hey, Christine. Well, you're going to be looking at some changes out there tonight. Case in point, along the northern part of the Oregon coast from our seaside camera. Cool and dreary out there. Temperature right now of only 56 degrees. Of course, yesterday we saw temperatures across the area in the metro area close to 90 degrees. We missed it by 2 degrees. We topped out at 88 degrees. Today was a high of only 73. We have some clouds out there with this cold front moving on shore. We're going to be looking at conditions really improving heading into your Thursday. Right now, though, we saw temperatures this afternoon in the upper 60s to low 70s, 69 in Aurora, just as warm over in parts of wine country in McMinnville and along the Oregon coast. You saw a drop by at least 10, 15 degrees or so. So tomorrow we'll be waking up to clouds, turning sunny and nice by late morning, early part of the afternoon. Friday, showers return, but Friday, the rainfall amounts are going to be relatively light. More of the measurable amount of rain will be arriving by the later part of the night. If you're making plans for the Grand Floral Parade, it's going to be cool and rainy, but some things could be improving by the later part of Saturday night as showers taper off. I'll talk more about that in detail when we come back.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
It's been just over a week since that chemical tank blast at a Longview paper mill killed 11 workers. And this evening, we're learning more about one of the lives lost, 58-year-old Norman Barlow.
Our Celine Stevens spoke to his daughter today. Celine, what did she tell you?
David and Christine, as you can imagine, this is a devastating loss for the family. Her dad, Norman Barlow, was one of the last people recovered on Saturday. She says her dad raised her as a single father and describes him as her everything.
My dad deserves peace and more than just his memory being in a building.
Brooke Iverson is the only child of Norman Barlow, one of the 11 victims of the deadly Nippon Dynawave industrial incident. He was 58 years old and worked at the plant as an electrician for exactly 3 months before he was killed.
No one from the company let us know. We all kind of found out from the news. Facebook, social media, people calling to ask if my dad was okay.
Iverson says by that afternoon, she knew something was wrong when calls to her father just went to voicemail.
It wasn't until 5:15, 5:30ish that we found out that he was one of the missing 9.
She says her dad would travel from Vancouver to work in Longview at 3 in the morning. He was a hard worker, a humble person, and always willing to help others.
When I first found out, I was just hopeful that my dad would call at 3. I was just hopeful that he had been helping other people get out of the mess. That's all my dad ever did was help people and work.
Norman was finally recovered Saturday.
It hurts, especially considering that he was actively trying to leave because of how the place was ran and the problems that they had and the safety concerns.
Over the past decade, records show the state of Washington has taken formal enforcement action against Nippon Dynawave Packaging 18 times for environmental issues, with fines totaling more than $43,000. It is important to note, we don't know if any of these violations are linked to the tank in question, and the cause of the tank failure remains unknown. Over a week later, cleanup operations continue, with vacuum trucks with pumps removing waste and liquid set to remain on site for the foreseeable future. The union announced on Wednesday that pay for employees will continue through at least August 8th. But for Iverson and her family, answers from the plant and continued support from the community is what they're looking for.
Every family deserves an answer as to how or whether this could have been prevented. Nipon's time is coming. They're on a clock now. A clock of answers, a clock of what happens now.
So the family has a GoFundMe to help with fundraising efforts. Iverson also acknowledges all the support that's been coming from Longview and Cowlitz County and encourages people to go to those fundraising events so all impacted families can be helped too. Now, I reached out to the Nippon Dynawave today for more information about these past safety concerns at the plant, but I haven't yet heard back. But last week, we heard from a company spokesperson at a press conference, and when it came to questions about safety, he said employees work in a highly hazardous industry and they approach it with the utmost care, and he will let the facts speak for themselves. Back to you.
Celine Stevens with the follow-up. Thank you, Celine.
And as Celine mentioned, over the last 8 days, we have seen co-workers, neighbors, and even strangers rally around the families of those 11 workers killed.
But our Catherine Cook now has a look at a benefit concert that brought even more people together.
In Longview, the line outside the Columbia Theater wrapped around the building. Everyone here thinking of the Nippon Dynawave disaster.
I think all of us have been touched by losing somebody or somebody that we know or someone that our children went to school with.
It is so surreal. It is just, just hard to imagine something like that. If you were these families, you know what I mean? And so we're just here to help.
The theater hosted a benefit concert Tuesday night. All proceeds going to victims' families. Tickets, $30.
I wish I could give more. I'm reaching down deep to figure out how I can give more.
Inside the theater, Court Carpenter and Dakota Robbins took the stage, both from Washington. Their music and hearts sold out every seat.
Every penny right now helps those families.
Elsewhere in Longview, more fundraising efforts. This one, a raffle at Mary's Bar and Grill. It's Delta Waterfowl's weekly fundraiser, but on this night, they're donating proceeds to victims.
We care a lot about each other, even when we have the differences of opinions, whether it be political, religious, whatever it may be. Everyone's coming together, and everyone cares about these families.
The community is just heartbroken.
Back at the theater, the music plays on for a community that's closer than ever. Organizers tell us they sold out and raised $35,000 for victims' families. If you'd like to help, just head to KGW.com where you'll find an address to a secure account where you can send a check. In Longview, Catherine Cook, KGW News.